Good evening. I'm going to continue to model the Victorian house. I've downloaded the latest version of Blender Alpha, which is 2.93. So I'm going to play with that. I've already played with it today. Seems pretty stable enough for what I want to do. They do sort of say that you shouldn't use it on production. I've got so many backups of stuff. You know, I wouldn't do like my ship, for instance, in it. But you know, simple house should be fine. I've put all my plugins in, add-ons. I always create my startup file because I like to have things set, you know, exactly how I want it set. Actually, I've just realized something. Oh, okay. That's interesting. Okay. So we're on I. Revision I always save it. Start a new revision when I start a new build. J. Ooh, what's happening there? That's weird. Okay. That's very weird. Okay. I don't know quite what's going on there. Oh, there we go. Okay. I must have done something the other day. So, today I might or might not talk. I don't seem to get anyone chatting, so I'm gonna kind of stay quiet and just mind my own business until someone says something. Put something in chat. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hide everything I don't really need. I need to sort out the stairs. Actually, I do need the chimneys back because I'm going to make some very simple. Let's just get rid of the first floor. I'm going to make some assets, basically fireplaces. I might make about 3 different ones. A big one to go into the very large rooms, small ones to go into the little room, possibly a different one for the kitchen. We'll see. Anyway. Sorry, I thought I could hear someone talking. Lara. No, okay, thank you very much. I'm just looking at some reference images. Sorry, I'm just. I mean, you know, this is my Victorian house, and today I'm going to design the fireplaces to go in. So this will be a big one for the larger rooms. I'll probably just resize it for the smaller rooms. Maybe do a different one for the kitchen. This is going to be the kitchen here. And then I've got the wonderful job of doing the stairs. I work on predominantly sort of low poly because it's all for Second Life. So I'm using the latest version of the development alpha 2.93 today. So you've been watching my other videos. Yeah, I played around with this the other day, and it's just too. The thing to do with Second Life is to make sure that the scale is kind of bigger. Yeah, I would love to make the stairs split, because I think it would look really nice. But you know, when you think that this guy has got to go up there, and this is just the landing. It's not big enough. It's just not big enough, really. The house needs to be bigger to have split stairs. So I'm still debating. I might still do it. I don't know. I like the way these stairs turned out, and they are actually quite low poly. I brought them into Second Life, and the land impact was actually really low, so I was really happy with that. But yeah, I'm kind of debating what to do with this. It's got to be big enough for your avatars to go up, and that is about right, because I've made so many different types of stairs. But we'll see. I like to think about these things, you know, because I want to make it look good. I really want to make it look good. I had debated whether to put the stairs over in that corner. I don't know. You see, most of the houses I've seen like this, of this kind of style and size, they tend to have the stairs literally behind the front door. Most of the time, they have it behind the front door, and then it just goes straight up, pretty much as it is there. That kind of scale. I've brought this whole model as well into Second Life, and the scale is spot on. It really is. But yeah, the stairs. I like the. I don't know why. I just like these stairs. I've made so many different types of stairs, but I just like the way this turned out. It looks so realistic, and yeah, I think it's going to look good. I think it will look good. I will make a bigger house. I want to make a mansion at some point. This is going to definitely be the biggest and probably the most complicated house that I've ever made in Second Life that's going to be livable. You know, somebody's gonna rent it and live in it. So anyway, I'm trying to. I mean, fireplaces. There's just Victorian fireplaces. I mean, you know, take your pick. I quite like the solid iron ones. You know, the ones that were kind of cast out of iron. But again, it's just, you know, take your pick on design. There is no fixed design. I don't know. It's difficult. You can just pick up some ideas. I mean, I like the cast iron ones actually. I do like the cast iron ones, and houses, Victorian houses that I've lived in. I've seen variations, but most of them have got the cast iron black. You know, the old style black cast iron. House I lived in Ireland for a while had kind of granite. I remember being fascinated by it because you could no, it wasn't granite. What it was that stone that's got all the little sea creatures in it. You know, it's probably millions of years old, but I was always fascinated with that when I was young. I want to. Yeah, 2.92's got some funny, quirky things happening already with it, and I know it's buggy, and I suppose there's me talking about it being buggy, and I am not saving my work. I've got no fear at all about using, you know, alpha beta versions. I've got the beta version now of 2.92, and what I'm using is 2.93 alpha. Let's just try and get that as. There we go. That's pretty good. I always do that. I always do that. I forget to click away from the cursor icon. Okay, what I want to use is this rather nifty spin. This is just such a cool tool. Really is such a cool tool. Whatever developer designed this tool for making arches is just unreal. I think 12's probably too high. Yeah. Wow, that's pretty neat. I got actually an exact 180 degree arch on that. Fantastic. Love this tool. Just completely transforms your builds when you can build an arch like that. There's a chap I follow on YouTube, and he makes game assets for I think for games like Sea of Thieves, something like that, and a few other games that are like that. And he makes sort of medieval type buildings and things like that, and that was one of the first, because of course he's always designing arches and arch doors, and you know, so do I. A lot of my stuff is you know, that kind of style, and this was one of the first things I think in the latest version that he said, you know, almost forget all the other videos I've ever done on making arches, use this tool, and yeah, completely transformed. There's a few fireplaces that have got square, but most of them from Victorian times got an arch on them. I'm going to keep this pretty simple. I don't want to make it overly complicated. Now that happens quite a bit as well. Why does that happen? So just going to bring that out a little bit. Yeah, that'll do. Thank you. I do the same. It's interesting you say that, because I get a lot of enjoyment out of watching other artists for stuff that I know that I'll never be able to do. I mean, there are, I think, two body painters that I follow. I'm not interested in body painting whatsoever, other than the fact that the two people that I follow are just amazing. Well, first of all, they're an amazing. They talk and they just chat, and they've got a lot of followers, so you know they're always talking. I'm only just starting, so I don't have an awful lot of followers. So, but yeah, and so they're just brilliant people because they talk and they tell stories and experiences and all that kind of thing, and their art is just amazing, and it's mesmerizing. It's mesmerizing just watching somebody do art, you know, drawing that, and they just make it look so easy. And that's the thing, they make it look so easy. And ooh, now why is that happening? I sound like a teacher that I know that teaches Blender. And why is that happening, students? That's happening because I haven't applied the scale. But yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. It's and thanks for saying that, because it kind of makes me feel like I'm doing something, you know. I just want to share what I do, really. I just enjoy doing what I do, and I've been doing it for 20 years, and I find it quite therapeutic. I've been programming all day, and you know, I just love doing this kind of work. I find it quite enjoyable. Now, most of the time, this is very often set back. Some are, some aren't, but most of the time, this arch bit. There's something very therapeutic about watching artists. I know I wouldn't call myself an artist. I just build stuff and play in Second Life and stuff, but I find this very therapeutic. I just find it really therapeutic, just playing around, you know, designing stuff like this, and I get a lot of joy out of making stuff and people just enjoying it. I know people enjoy it in Second Life. I love building in Second Life, and you get the same. People will watch you building in Second Life as well. They'll, you know, there is just something about watching an artist work. I guess, you know, there's something about it. I would love to be what I call a proper artist. You know, I can sketch, and I'm not very good at it. I certainly wouldn't be brave enough to do anything on Twitch with regard to that. But you know, you look at some of these artists sketching and painting and drawing and inking. I love ink work. I love, and what I you know, if I could just learn 10% of how to draw naturally, I would love it. But, and I've tried, I've done courses, I just not a natural. My sister, now, she could draw. She had a natural ability to draw. I'm thinking the easiest way of getting that, the effect that I'm looking at, I think is going to be I don't want to make this too complicated because it's just low poly. Problem is, if I inset this, I very rarely ever use these tools to it. This is kind of a new thing, all these tools. Some of them are good. I think I've just grown up. I've kind of just used, you know, I mean, a lot of the stuff was shortcut keys, and I still do it. I still use an awful lot of shortcut keys. I'm not accurate enough to use the knife, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do this. The only thing with this is I need to tidy it up. going to need any of these. I'll delete the back in a minute. So what we're left with is what I could do is just delete that edge. Okay. And most of the fireplaces had an angle on them as they went in. So I'm just going to do this. You get the effect without too much. Okay, so something else I need to do. Always with Second Life, you have to keep thinking about land impact and the reducing things like faces that you're just not going to see, because it just increases. It basically just increases the land impact. Okay, so I'm going to move that back there. Let's have that just touching. Okay. Are you an artist, Laura? Lara? Do you do a different kind of art? Do you do art at all? Okay, I think that's pretty much as simple as I may want to go. I might be able to I think it will look better actually with some texturing on there rather than me adding more geometry, because it's just going to add to the land impact really. I might bring this out very slightly. Just very slightly. Yeah, there we go. Don't need the back of this. Because it's going up against a wall. And then it comes back again. It's a really weird problem. Thanks for letting me know. I have had several meetings today actually, using Zoom, and it's not the hardware that I'm using. It seems to be Windows. All I have to keep doing is going in, disable the mic, and re-enable the mic again, and it comes back. I have no idea, but it is happens quite a lot. I don't know why. I'll leave those settings open just in case it happens again. I have not touched anything with my deck thing that my mic's plugged into, so it is a weird. I think it's a Microsoft problem. Excuse me. Been getting a lot of updates recently, and they do seem to be screwing things around. Oh, come on. Okay, let's just save this. 2.93 has definitely got some. 2.93 is the version of Blender I'm using, and it's definitely got some funny, quirky things going on. I don't know. Don't really understand what it's doing. What are you doing? Okay. Okay. I think probably that and that needs to disappear, because generally they don't. This doesn't tend to stick out very much. Yeah, perfect. I'll keep an eye on my microphone, see whether it still keeps doing it. I have this on and off actually with Twitch. It's I don't think it's Twitch. There is a reason. There was a cause that I found out that stopped my microphone from working, but okay, I like that. It's pretty straightforward. So I quite like the I don't know what you call this bit of the fire. The grate, not the, yeah, I guess the grate. The grate would go on the bottom, but then I guess this is the grate face, or something like that. And this. Oh, that's interesting. Key combinations slightly different. Okay. Pretty thin. Some have got 3, some have got 4. 1, 2. Okay, I'm gonna go one more. I'm not gonna solidify that because no one's gonna see it. They're only gonna see it from the outside. I think that's fine. Okay. I like it. So I'm just going to bring those in. Actually, they're very close together. No, that didn't work, did it? Ooh. Sorry, it's interesting when you use a different version of software, you notice different things happening, and Blender is notorious of keeping a very low revision level of software. I don't know whether you know, I could be waffling on and you have no interest in it, but Blender has a history of doing what they call a really low level revision number, but it's almost like you're getting, you know, like they'll go 2.92 and then go to 2.93, and that's a very low revision number, but in general terms with pieces of software, it's like you've just got a completely different version, almost a different version of the software, and different things happen. Like I've just had this menu pop up. I bet now I didn't press anything to do with bevel, but I've obviously clicked on something because it knows that I beveled that earlier. So is this allowing me to bevel again? Or I don't know. Interesting. It's quite interesting. I'm going to keep these separate elements because I'm now going to, because there will be different textures going on these. So I'm going to call this fireplace. Okay, that's the main fireplace. I'm going to call that fireplace arch. I'm going to call it fireplace grill. Going to highlight those, move them to a new collection. Fireplace 01, because I'm going to do different fireplaces. So that's going to be the big one. That's going to be the fireplace for the big rooms, which I think will be fine because they just had a big fireplace right in the middle, and it was kind of the focal point of the room, really. Like we have a TV nowadays. We don't have fireplace. Well, this house has got a fireplace because it's Victorian, but they're not used anymore, obviously. But modern houses don't have fireplaces, and so they have very often they have fake ones, but which is quite interesting, really, because the main focal point now of most modern houses is a massive TV. So I'm going to duplicate this. So I'm going to make a small one, and then I might duplicate that again. We're going to have a kind of a custom one. No point in duplicating, you know, designing from scratch. So all I need to do now, really, is move that to a new collection, and I'm just going to call this Fireplace 02. And that's going to be fireplace 03. I'm going to put K on the end for kitchen. Okay, so the smaller rooms don't need a fireplace that big. Now the references, always look at reference images. Most of the smaller fireplaces were actually very narrow. So I'm going to play with this. I'm going to scale it down. As long as I can bring that down to a level that looks, yeah, that looks in proportion. Pretty basic fireplace using existing geometry. No point in reinventing the wheel. And very often, even I can remember when I was younger, because my parents always seemed to live in really old houses, we always had fire screen, you know, there was always a fire screen, because obviously, you know, kids in the house. I had a younger brother, a younger sister and a younger brother, and you didn't want them getting involved in burning their fingers or whatever, throwing things into the fire. So there was always a fire guard. Now there was either a fire guard made of metal, like a grill, or there was very often like a very posh screen, which I think was made of wood, which was a bit scary, in front of a fireplace. Okay, so now I need kitchen fireplaces. Wouldn't have this grill on the bottom, and actually they were quite wide, weren't they? Ooh, I could make a range. I could make a... Ooh, that might be an idea. In fact, that might be a very good idea. Sometimes I had a mix of... Oh, God, I mean, it's just... You know, there is no standard. Yeah. Okay, so they had a lot of the time they had open fires, but of course they also had what we call a range. I don't know what you call it in different countries, but it's like a very early oven type thing with a hob. I know what I can do. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. So very often, of course, they would build a range around an existing fireplace. So you had a mixture of like an open... I like that. I like that. Okay, so kitchen, can't make it too big because this is not a manor house. This is just a kind of a middle to upper class kind of country home. But I could make it, I don't want to make it any wider than that. Okay, so let's make this look like... Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess they were a cross between having an open fire and having ovens and hot plates. So I'm thinking... how could we alter this? I think let's get rid of this. I think certainly that needs to go up because they're pretty big. Can't go any wider because I think it would look out of place, but certainly... Okay. I'm just going to grab those. Grab those. We should be able to make those bigger. Yep. Perfect. The top shelf always seemed to be... God, I say that and then I see... Generally speaking though, the top shelf tended to be a lot thinner than a normal fireplace. Microphone still working? Yep. Okay, so I think let's apply scale because otherwise we're going to start getting awful things happening. Let's stick the cursor to the selected and add. They kind of just look like boxes. So yeah, I want to give it kind of a 3D. Unlike these, I'm not going to have, you know, this is just going to be textured, the other smaller ones, to make it look like there's depth to the fireplace. I don't want to put that much detail in, and I think the same applies to this. Keep the geometry relatively small, and just simplify it. So I'm going. God, my stomach is growling today. So let's just this way. No, I didn't want to do that. I needed to extrude, not grab. There we go, because we need another box. Okay, same this side. Extrude. Now we can grab X. Looking in this mode is changing the orthographic view to kind of the front face, so that you're looking at it without any perspective, which means that you can, and if you turn on kind of X-ray mode like this, you can kind of see through the building and make sure that you're, you know, it gets a bit confusing, but as long as you know where your mesh is, you can get things lined up correctly. And that's why you always see people who are designing stuff doing this, because it means that you can get things squared up as pretty accurate as possible. I'm not making anything that needs to be particularly accurate, so you know, I can do it by eye, but you know, you can zoom in. I mean, if you were, you know, you can see there's a gap there, but no one's going to notice that in Second Life. You can see that I haven't actually got that quite on the GZ. I can use very small increments to get that absolutely lined up, but most of the time people are not seeing that kind of level of detail. So let's just make this look like a Victorian fireplace. Actually, the one that I'm looking at, see, this is behaving differently. It's interesting. So I can just grab that on the x-axis and move that over. Okay. And I can grab that all the way around. Grab that x-axis and move that over there. Okay. We're now going to select that. And we're going to extrude up. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting that it does that automatically now. Okay. Looks good. Let's extrude that out. It's very convincing. I can hear rain, and I think it's part of the music. We're expecting snow. That's got a rounded face on it. Bevel. Looks good. We can get rid of these now. Did it again. Gets me every time. So that seems to go up to about there. And then it goes up even higher. So this is some sort of oven. Looks like an oven. And it's okay. Let's grab that and go up. Why is that extruding? It shouldn't be extruding. Delete edges. It's better. This oven seems to... Now I want to extrude up. It's fairly big. Actually, there's a tool I want to try that I know I didn't like using in previous versions, and it's kind of... I don't know what they call it, but it's this one? Manifold, that's it. Let's see if it works. It didn't really work properly in previous versions. Ooh, they got it to work. Awesome. Wow. Okay, that's a tool I will be using a lot more now. They've obviously fixed it in 2.93. How awesome. That never really worked before. It left funny kind of geometry around, which, so that means that I can also move this then. Oh my god, that's amazing. Okay. Wow. Now we've got a tool that we can really use. That's pretty neat. That is pretty neat. Excellent. I like it when stuff like that works. Okay, I kind of want to subdivide that face, but it's not working. Okay. Let's undo that. Right. Oh, it did do it. That's really weird. Oh. Okay, let's go back on that. Right. We don't want that to happen. Okay. Scale is wrong. That's that's why. So what they have is like a... It's a shame I haven't got any more pictures of it. I might grab the geometry from there. Actually, I'll just put that there. That saves a lot of time. Microphone's still working, yes it is. So basically they had a fire in here. They had... This seemed to be a hot plate for putting a kettle on. And then this actually was bigger. So this was some sort of oven. And I'm going to inset that. So it's like a door on the front. And then there seem to be, and actually a lot of them seem to have something at the top here. Maybe they were... no, it's interesting. Most of them seem to have something... stick with this design. I think that part there should be lower. Slightly. Seemed to be specifically for a kettle. So I'm wondering whether the fire, because it was so hot, would heat up these. So this was kind of an oven. And then you had the open fire with a plate on the top. So I need to put sort of a grill across there. And then this was specifically, seemed to be specifically for a kettle. And most of them have got like a specific place just for a kettle, because we're English and we drink so much tea, I guess. Yeah. Most of them seem to have a specific hot plate just for a kettle. And then there seemed to be a shelf that kind of went, kind of that part there was sort of a shelf. thinking that I grab that. Because that's all that's really required. And make a shelf. Which went something along the lines of that. We want to fill those in because they will be seen. Cool, I like that. I like that option. And then there seem to be kind of, I don't know what they would be actually. I guess something to put things in. They look like little cubby, you know, cupboards of. Ah, they may well have been. They may well have been. Yeah. Okay. So one or two, I can see that they've got pots in. So maybe that was a place where you used to put your pots. Again, I want to try and keep this as low poly as possible. Can I? I can. Okay, I can and I can't. Actually, it doesn't. It only needs to be for show. It only needs to be for show. Okay, so I'm going to grab. Love it. I'm going to grab that. I'm going to move that back here. Ooh, can't do that. That's interesting. Ah, okay, because I've grabbed all that as well. I just need to grab that. Okay, I can do this. Yeah, I can just move that there. That's fine. I don't really need that. There, that's obviously separate. Because all I'm going to do. All I'm going to do is extrude that upwards to give me that effect of perfect. And then microphone's still working, yes it is. And then we just scale. Those in. Extrude out very slightly. I want to scale that face on the normals. This very often doesn't work. No. Why? Shift Z. Okay, let's just do it on that. Scale Z. Let's just do it manually. Interesting, isn't it? Doesn't seem to want to do it. What if I do it globally? Scale. If I do that, it goes bizarre. If I go, see, I want it to go Shift Y. X. No. Y. Z. Why does it do Z and not the others? Anyway. If I do it by view, local, scale, X. Nah, I never really figure out why that it does that. So now I have to scale Y. No, because it's now around the wrong way. Global. Scale X. I've gone. GY. Okay, let's not mess around with this. Let's just insert again. Come out very slightly. There we go. Now behind here, was what looks to be, that's going to give me quite a good effect actually. So let's extrude down. It kind of came down to about there. Behind where the kettle is. Let's do it about there. Yeah. Of course, the fire would go up and basically go up the chimney. What I'm going to do now is grab that and that and go up to give us a bit of a nice effect from the front. There we go. Which is pretty much how it used to look. Right, just for the sake of that works out quite well, because that means I can fill that in. Ooh. I can fill that in like so, and we've got a nice Victorian kitchen fireplace. Kettle goes there, oven. So delete geometry that's not going to be seen. Now, something that I've seen, which is quite interesting, is most of the oven doors seem to be arched at the top. Not all of them, but most of them seem to be arched at the top, which is interesting. So very simply, just use the knife tool. Let's do a cut there. roughly there. Okay. So I'm going to drop those down. Not a very big arch, but they did pretty much have an arch on them. Let's drop that down a little bit more. Yeah, just breaks up the squareness of everything else, really. The rest of it can be done with texturing. I need to put a kind of grill across that, because I'm guessing that's where they used to put the pot, you know. Let's have a look. Yeah. Some had 2 ovens. Some had this kind of teapot. I guess you could put a normal pot on there, not just a teapot, but they show them all with teapots. Big old kettle, not teapots. And then there seems to have been like a grill across the top. So let's stick the cursor there. Let's add another cube. Don't need it to be that big. So it was kind of a grill. That went across there. I'm not going to make a grill because again it's going to add too much small geometry that again people are not going to see, but I can texture it to make it look like a grill. So it's scale away. So it's just, some of them just had literally a plain shelf that I guess was made out of iron. But I will make it look like a grill. Okay, so obviously I mean, some of these seem to be quite big. You know, high above the fire. Okay. Let's keep it authentic. Kind of up there, so they must have had a kind of a roaring fire, which I'm guessing is why it was all made out of cast iron, so that it didn't burn. So the heat would go here, and then chimney, it would basically just go up there and then out, I guess, up the chimney. Yeah. Kind of makes sense to put that there, really, wouldn't it? Yeah. Okay. I think that looks pretty authentic. Again, I'm not going to put I might do. I'll see. You know, no one's going to be going into the kitchen and looking at anything in particular detail. I think as long as it looks, you know, relatively like a Victorian kitchen, I don't think anyone's really going to notice that much. Okay, that looks good enough to be, so I need to, let's just see if there are any, let's just clean up and delete any loose stuff. Ooh, okay, so yeah, I did actually notice that there was some geometry down here that I may have just accidentally duplicated, so that's gone now anyway. I'm wondering actually whether I should I think the back of this I think the back of this needs to have I think this needs to be filled in really. I'm just thinking I can't really have that go back that far because it's going to go through. Oh no, there's going to be a chimney there. I do talk a lot. I do talk a lot. I talk a lot even, in real life when I'm working. I'm always talking to myself. It's just something I've always done ever since I was really young. Um, I think these sides could go because they're not going to be seen. Yeah, those sides could go, right? And then I think that this, now that we've got that there, that could grab Shift X. We want to bring that down around there, and then grab Shift X, and that could go down there just to give that kind of a, just because otherwise this is going to go up against the wall, and okay, so now what I need to do, because it's going up against the wall, I need to bring this out so that it meets the other. Is this gonna work? It does. Wow, they've got that sorted. Fantastic. So all I need to do is highlight that lot. Get rid of the backs on those. Pretty much. And we move that until it looks about there. Perfect. Right, I'm just going to tidy this up. Make sure that we haven't got extra geometry anywhere that is not going to be seen. So we don't need any backs. We don't need any geometry underneath. What have I done there? I've screwed something up. Okay, let's just undo what I just did. No. Okay, so I've screwed something up there. Ah, right, okay. Yep. Okay, I know what I've done. Do we need that face? No, we don't need that face. We don't need that face. What have I done there? I don't quite know what I've done there. Interesting. I obviously clicked on something and merge center. Merge last. There we go. Sometimes one of the things you do have to do actually when you if you use anything like this program is you kind of have to troubleshoot what you screwed up. It's quite interesting, but I find it quite therapeutic. I used to get really panicky and worried when I first started because I couldn't understand why things happen sometimes, and there is always a solution. There is always, you know, basically what I've done is somehow I've kind of screwed up some geometry there. So I'm gonna just delete that vertex or vertice. I don't know. I call it vertex. A lot of people call it vertex. So you see now what's happened is it's just removed. So you go back. Trying to just figure out what I've done there. Okay, what if I merge that with that? There we go, problem solved. Okay, looking good. That looks like a Victorian kitchen. That should be, I think I moved all that geometry into fireplace 3. Yeah. So I need to that and that move fireplace 3 kitchen. So I should actually have, if I, yep, that's it. So it's fireplace 1, 2 and 3 kitchen, correct. Highlight everything, Control A, apply scale. So now scale. I now have, okay, so before I start doing anything else, we've got what did I say I needed to do yesterday? I needed to do the fireplaces and I needed to do the stairs, and then I'm pretty certain that this is completed. I really want those stairs in this house because it looks so good with the double. I think it would look really good with the double stairs going up, but this house is just not big enough. The scale has to be that size for Second Life. Okay, right. to do is grab those, move them out here, as most of the fireplaces I need to rotate Z 90 degrees. I'm going to duplicate them and dump them over there in case I screw something up. Let's do this floor first. So there's only one kitchen and we just need to grab that there. Actually, can that go through the wall? Ooh. It won't come out the other side. Fantastic. Oh, that's good. I like it. Needs to go up slightly. I need to, but the floor is going to go up. So the thickness of the floor. Not an awful lot, but I can move that around anyway. Let's put it about there. If I bring the chimneys in, is that going to line up? Not that anyone's going to notice really. Yeah, as good as. How many people we got watching? A few. Like still going? Yes, it is. Okay, we need to. Okay, let's just duplicate Z. Yeah, proportion wise, I think that's about right. That's about right for a room that size. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. I like it. Okay. Save. Keep saving, keep saving. Ah. Slides the fingers a bit. Shift D, Z. Okay, we now want to see the first floor. I might need to move these fireplaces into each of those. I don't think you can put a collection inside a collection that I know of. Can I? No. No, you can't put a collection inside a collection, so I need to... Okay, it's not a problem. Big one here. GZ. Go into the middle of the room roughly. Okay. And then we've got two small rooms. I was always actually quite surprised with houses, and it's the same with this house. 1920s, 1930s house, and it's actually quite surprising how inaccurate they were. I guess it was because they didn't have the precision technology that they've got now. They would have had plumb bobs, which were just a weight on a piece of string. I don't know when you know, things like proper spirit levels and things came out, because I don't think any one of these rooms is square, not like a modern house. You know, you go in, it's like you're in a box. You know, you're in a perfect rectangular, straight, 90-degree angle box. This house is not like that at all. And a lot of houses that I've lived in, and which have all been fairly old, I think the oldest house I lived in was, I would say, about 200 years old. They weren't square. They weren't squared at all. They were actually quite inaccurate. Okay, I like it. I'm liking it. Okay, so I'm going to move this to the first floor. Might as well keep everything. ground floor. Okay, that kind of keeps everything nice and yeah, we're good. Okay. Now I've been procrastinating enough actually to do with these stairs. Oh, now I have to make a decision about the stairs. We don't need the fireplaces anymore because we've got copies of everything. If I bring back the first floor, just make sure everything is, yeah, that's correct. All present and correct. I'm procrastinating about the stairs. You see, you can see where the banister comes up the top. There just isn't enough space. And I don't want to make it any, you know, I could, you know, you could go up and then it splits and then goes up very slightly and then again turns around and comes back. But I think that's just too complicated, really, for a Second Life. It would look really, really nice in a mansion house, but I think for this particular house, it's just not going to be. I think it's kind of unnecessary. So, okay, let's save and save as a new revision. Okay. Wow, I've been streaming for 2 hours. Blimey. I'm just thinking what to do with these stairs. Because I like the way that those stairs are, there's a part of me that wants to. Okay, there's a part of me that thinks I like the way those stairs are. Let's just move them there. You see, that would work. It would actually work. I don't know. It would fit perfect like that. And the only other thing that I'm thinking of as well, I mean, you know, it's all very well keeping it to kind of, you know, I mean, I have seen them. I have seen stairs go over there, as I've said before in previous video, but most of the houses I've seen have got stairs that kind of almost right in front of the door. You know, you kind of walk in and there's the stairs. If I... You see, they would go, well, the floor has got to go inside, so they would go some, excuse me, something like that. Needs to go. Okay, so the. I got two. Actually, I think I will remove the first top steps, and the rail. Move the head of the banister down, and then resize the stairs to fit that corner. I think that's the best thing to do. And then I will need to block, I think block that off, have a door, and a very simple set of steps that will go down to the basement. And of course that would be, you know, access for the kitchen, which would make logical sense, and also anyone else, you know, because typically the door to the cellar or the basement would typically be under the existing stairs. And when you're in a manor house, which is what we lived in, you know, parents lived in Ireland, the downstairs, the cellar was split up into different rooms, and that's where the kitchen was. I mean, it was a massive house. It was huge. And they would have had servants there. They had servants' quarters. They had, I mean, it was just, you know, I don't know. Well, I remember my parents. I don't know whether they bought it or they rented it with another family, and there was a cellar. We lived on the first floor, you know, the ground floor, and then this other family lived on the second floor, and then there was like a kind of another floor up. You know, I think where the servants used to live was kind of up in the loft, and I know there were servants' quarters outside, and there was a massive yard out the back, and it was huge. I mean, you know, when I think about it now, it was massive. Okay, I'm going to make a decision. I'm going to stop procrastinating. I'm going to move this. And I made it like this so that it could be used, you know, that it could be chopped and changed around. So that needs to go there. And then this banister. Now this will be interesting to see how 2.93 copes with. Cool, I love it. I love it. They got that working, because because I couldn't get that working really properly in 292. G. Shift Y, because I don't want it to move in that direction. I want it to go like that. There we go. Just like that. We've altered the stairs. Okay. Now we've got these bits together. Scale, let's apply the scale. Let's stick the origin to the center of the mass so that we don't get any weird scaling problems. Microphone still working? Yeah. Okay. Right, so floor's gonna go inside the building, and but it's not very thick, so that's fine. It's on the inside of the building, so the floor will go up very slightly. I need to now scale this up very slightly, because the top step needs to go to what is effectively the walking floor of the upper floor. I may have scaled that up a bit too big. Ooh. There. G, Z. We're going to go up. G, X. We're going to go this way. G, Y. Okay, I think that's going to probably scale it down a little bit. Woo, what have I done there? Let's go back. Okay. I think in this instance I am going to join those. There's going to be no harm in joining that. Yeah, I want to keep this separate. Right, let's start again. Scale. Perfect. So we're going to go above the floor. Perfect. Okay, we're good. I've made an executive decision. I'm quite a good procrastinator, really. I think that's because of my star sign. I kind of have to weigh things up and, you know, kind of think things through. You know, just kind of think about all the options, fors and against. I think that looks good. Shading's gone a bit haywire on that. There we go. Perfect. Anyway, I'll be going through this in greater detail before I start. Yeah, I think that looks good. Okay. Okay, I think that looks good. It means that whoever is going to be renting the house can put more furniture in if the stairs are not in the middle. I mean, there are pluses and minuses against it. You know, I mean, it could be rather nice to have. You know, they didn't have carpet in those days, but they had you know, Persian carpet type thing. So you know, you would have a sort of a Persian carpet right in the middle of the room with a border around the outside, and you could do the same. You know, you could have like an oval carpet here on the floor with a sort of almost a small chandelier. Would actually look rather nice in a house like this. You know, you'd have a hat stand over on the corner here for your walking sticks and umbrellas, and you know, a place to put your boots and things like that. And then I don't know what you'd have over here. Potentially a, you know, a small sofa of some sort, small seat. But I think this is coming on. So yeah. Okay. I mean, I've been streaming long enough, and I'm sure anyone that's been watching has probably fallen asleep by now. So I might let me look at my list. Yeah, so Victorian house. Yeah, okay, so that's fine. So the next stream will be I need to build cupboard. I need to box the stairs in. On the end, I will put a small door that will basically have. There'll be a hole cut here, obviously, and some pretty basic steps that will go down. In fact, I might even grab these steps here. Just literally have something that will go down to the cellar, the basement. And then I need to cut a hole in the floor upstairs, which is going to be pretty easy to do. That's it. That's basically, and then we're talking about texturing. That'll be the next thing to do. So let's bring the roof back, the first floor back, the basement. It's beginning to look rather good. It's really nice when you make something and you have this vision in your head and you look at reference images, which is absolutely fine. I always suggest, you know, looking at reference images, and I think, you know, I mean, I picked all these kind of things up over the years, and having learnt, because some of my very early houses, I might open up a couple of files of my early houses. They were awful because I was just picturing it in my mind, and I didn't really look at reference images to see how, you know, things were done, and they were awful. They were absolutely awful. I'm not going to put anything in the cellar. But yeah, I think this is looking good. This is looking really, really good. I'm happy with it. I'm really happy with it. Okay, I'm going to call it a day, because I would like to chill out for a little while. Um, we've got a few people looking. We've got lurkers, and a couple of viewers. So yeah, I'm going to call it a night. Let me just see. I would like to try and obviously I'm trying to grow my channel, so the thing to do apparently is to raid another channel. So I'm going to see. Okay. So one of the artists that I follow, she's live tonight. But I think it's only fair, really, to kind of go and raid somebody who's doing, you know, much the same 3D modeling. Okay, so there's not an awful lot of people live at the moment. Okay, there's not a huge amount of people actually live at the moment doing 3D modeling. Are they live? No. Okay, what if I type in Blender? Blender Play. Okay. No, they're playing a game. Obviously not a lot of people, and I think this person's German. Yeah. I suspect that they're German. Not that that makes a difference, but yeah. Okay. Okay, so okay, I'll just end the stream. It doesn't matter. Obviously, a lot of 3D people who are working 3D are doing it at a different time. So, thank you very much for watching. As always, I do appreciate. And yeah, I mean, if you are watching and want to follow along with some of my builds, and if you're still listening, Lara, thank you very much for your kind words earlier. It's kind of encouraging to hear someone, you know. It's always nice, I think, when you've got someone that sort of enjoys your work. So thank you very much, and I will be streaming again, typically on Saturdays and Sundays. Yeah, I would like to see. I've got some really nice textures. I think I've already said I use most of the time now. I use procedural textures, but I do have some really nice, and it's been one of my dreams to sort of make a house like this and texture it correctly, you know, properly, and make it look the real business rather than you know, bad. But anyway, thank you very much, and I shall see you hopefully at the weekend.